when Yakov comes to bless Yosef's children, Ephraim and Manasseh, he's supposed to bless them, it seems, based on the order of their ages. Manasseh would get the first bracha, and then Ephraim. Manasseh's older. Instead, Yakov switched the hands, classically, right? Manasseh was placed on his right side. He's supposed to give him the bracha here with his right hand, the first bracha, and the second bracha will go to Ephraim. Instead, he switched the order, and he gave Ephraim, the younger one, the blessing first. And Yakov did this. Yakov knows what comes from showing some favoritism or going out of the order and giving more attention to the younger. What's he doing here? Why is he favoring Ephraim over Manasseh when Manasseh was the older one, supposed to get that blessing? Rabbi Sachs has a strong explanation. He says that it wasn't so much about the age order. Of course, Manasseh was older, but there was a message that he wanted to send to later generations. When Yosef gave the names to Ephraim and Manasseh, he based it on his history. And so the verse says when he gave Manasseh his name, it says, because God helped him forget all of his travails and all the troubles in his father's house. Manasseh comes from the word nashani, forgetfulness, forgetting. So he's named Manasseh based on forgetting the past. He named Ephraim based on God, Hifrani. God gave Ephraim from Hifrani. God made him fruitful. Hifrani Elohim be'eretz onyi, in the land of my affliction, in the exile in Egypt. So Rabbi Sachs picks up on this language, in the land of my affliction, when it comes to Ephraim. And he says like this, he says that Yosef went through a stage where his first stage he was trying to escape his past. Trying to escape. Nashani, when he first named Manasseh, he said, I'm trying to forget my past. And he was kind of submerging in some ways into the exile. Because he wanted to move so far away from his past. When he finally got older and he named Ephraim with his name, he was no longer wanting to forget the past. He wanted to recognize that he is in exile. So he says, God made me fruitful in the land of my struggle, which is the exile. So he says something like this. He goes, the name, that's a better perspective. If you're in the exile, you shouldn't be running away from your past into the exile. But rather, if you're in the exile, you try to make the best of it, and by recognizing still that you're in the exile. And he says, as Jewish people, when Yakov is giving a blessing to the children, and that would be symbolic of the path of the Jewish people, they should know that we can't just leave our tradition and become submerged into the secular culture. We need to know what Ephraim, the message of Ephraim's name is. Eretz Oni, we are in the exile. And we need to know that we're Jews and know our past and our future, know who we are. And so he's saying he switched the order of the blessings, of course he knew the age and everything, but he wanted to give a message. The message was, based on the names, that as Jews in the exile, we need to know that we are in exile. We should know who we are and not be submerged in the ways of the nations. So therefore, he put Ephraim first, because Ephraim's name symbolizes that. When I was reading this, I thought of another idea connected to the names. Very simple. The verbs that are used. Nashani is forgetting. Hifrani is making me fruitful. And maybe he's saying a message like when you're going through the gullus, because Ephraim and Manasseh were born in the gullus. When you're in the gullus, when you're exiled, when you're going through all the travails and difficulties, there are two modes of dealing with it. You can be stuck in the past, you're trying to forget it, you're trying to forget the past, and you're trying to disengage from it. You can be focused on being fruitful, going toward the future. And so maybe he gave precedence to Ephraim, saying, I want you to have the attitude of doing positive things, looking forward. Of course there's difficulties, and we have to really work to forgetting our past and overcoming it and dealing with it, but don't get stuck in the past. Don't get stuck. There's going to be a lot of tough times ahead. Don't get stuck in the tough times. Stay focused on kihifrani, being fruitful going forward. So perhaps that's another way to understand, like having a positive attitude and trying to focus on what's good amidst the difficulties that you're going to face.